I have to take 400 cuttings from my azaleas today. These ones over here. These are my white, fragrant azaleas, and they are gorgeous. And these are the old-fashioned variety that only bloom once a year in the springtime. See all this fresh, green, new growth on the stem? And then you have the woody down here. So when I take these cuttings, I want to make sure I take it from this green, fresh growth. And I've seen people take them all the way down on the azaleas, like a big section. When I did it last year and I took about 200 cuttings, I didn't take as much. So I'm going to do what I did last year and what worked for me. And the reason I'm taking so many is because I've got a lot of places I want to put them. One of them is over here, my driveway. I want both sides of my driveway to be lined with these white, fragrant azaleas because in springtime I can just picture driving down this driveway and smelling the lovely fragrance of these azaleas. I've already gotten kind of a start here. If you see, I've got a big old bunch of mulch that I got delivered from Chip Drop, and I've been working on putting this out here. You see a little caterpillar here. These are all cuttings that I took from last year, and they kind of go all the way down, ending at the mulch where I've kind of stopped. I'm going to be working on putting mulch on either side of the driveway so that next year when I'm ready to put out more azaleas, I'm ready to go. But see, I also put some hydrangeas, and these are also ones that I took from cuttings. I will also be taking more hydrangea cuttings as well. And the reason I'm taking 400, I really only need about 200 for this driveway to finish it out, is not all of the cuttings will take. I wish I could remember the percentage of ones that made it last year. Oh goodness, I want to say over 50% made it. What I like to do, since I'm going to be taking so many, is when I cut them, I put them right here in the bucket of water so they're not getting dried out. And of course later I'll show you what I like to do as far as using a rooting powder. Now you don't have to use a rooting powder. I have had success with taking woody plants and taking cuttings from them and putting them in a glass of water and having them root. That's how my mother in my family has always done it with hydrangeas. And when I was doing more research though, when I wanted to take so many cuttings, I did learn that the rooting powder does help. And anything I can do to have a higher success rate is worth it for me. Oh, you fell down, little gnome. Let me get my bucket. Make our way through the jungle here. And it is best to take your cuttings in the morning. I didn't do that last year. But it is morning time, but the sun is starting to come out here and hit these azaleas. We'll see how fast we can get this done. Go. What you doing? You're missing some legs. That's gracious. Okay, here, come on out. Come on out. It is a lot cooler here on the porch. So I filled several of these trays up with perlite. You can use pots if you want. I just found that these trays work really well for me when I'm doing so many cuttings like I have. I like using perlite. You can use soil, but just make sure your soil does not have any fertilizer in it. And I've also seen people use sand. I like to tear off the lower leaves. I'm gonna cut this one. If you have a pot and it's deep enough of soil or perlite or whatever you use, you can have a bigger cutting. And whatever you use, just make sure it stays nice and moist and it doesn't dry out. I did something kind of silly, you guys. I forgot to put the brooding powder on. So I did this whole tray and then I was like, you know what? I forgot a step. So I had to go back, do the brooding powder. Let me show you how I do it. I just put the brooding powder in a bowl. Some people wet it first. I don't see why I would do that because they're already wet. And plus the perlite is wet, so it sticks just fine. So you see I put that on there. Got the brooding powder all over. And we just go ahead and put it in. Just like that. So don't forget the brooding powder like I did. I'm so silly. It's the next day, y'all, and I was able to finish these azalea cuttings. And I need to get out and take some hydrangea cuttings today. But I have something a little bit more pressing that I need to deal with. Last night when Nate and I went out to check to make sure all the chickens and the turkeys went in properly, because we've been having some issues with the turkeys that I just recently put in with the grown-up turkeys not going in at night. And we have a pretty large raccoon lurking about. So we need to make sure they're getting in. In fact, that's how I hurt my wrist, is by wrangling turkeys. But when we were out there last night, I noticed on the tobacco that we have a hornworm issue. I haven't been out in the garden as much. It's been very, very hot. Plus the pest pressure just hasn't been what it was before. And my tomatoes are gone. I pretty much just have tobacco, some squash, and peppers left. And then of course everything that I planted for fall is starting to come up too. Nathan had his flashlight, which also had a setting for blacklight setting, and he shined it on the hornworms and they didn't glow, which I thought was interesting because I've been told for years that hornworms glow when you shine a blacklight on them. They did not glow one bit, so I don't know. Let me know if anybody has experienced being able to get them to glow under a blacklight, because that didn't really work for us. But let's get out there before it gets too hot, because the humidity has been coming in fast. It's already pretty humid already. Last night we had an unexpected rain. I had a 0% chance of rain in the forecast. I've been looking at it to make sure because I need to move all my seedlings, all my fall seedlings that we had planted together 2 weeks ago, somewhere safe if it was going to be getting a harsh amount of rain. But this rain shower came on so suddenly, y'all. Before I knew it, there was just pounding rain, pounding hard on my poor seedlings outside. So I did go out there to try to put them all under the tables to protect them. I wasn't able to get out there fast enough. I don't know. Some of them are definitely going to make it. Some are not. The lettuce is done better than any of them as far as taking that hard pounding of a rain. I'm concerned that the ones that did make it are just going to be stunted. I'm going to go ahead and tomorrow, which is Wednesday, throw out some cabbage, broccoli. Oh, hello, spider. Oh, what are they called? Mine went blank. Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to be throwing them out. Since the stuff that I did throw out, was that a week and a half ago we did that, is coming up and doing well, I'm going to go ahead and just throw out all of those seeds as well. So that way I I'm not too stressed about the ones that we planted together a few weeks ago, since they did take quite a pounding with that rain. Little spider here. Oh, you know what? I need my ladder. Okay, so this tobacco, you guys, it's got to be 12 feet tall. Yeah, because I did measure those sunflowers, and it's as tall as the sunflowers were, so I'm gonna go grab that ladder. I'm gonna set you guys over here. And these hornworms are after this tobacco. Goodness gracious. I was just out here. You know what I'm gonna do too? I'm gonna just get a bowl and put them in the bowl, because there's quite a few I need to just grab off here. We'll throw them out to the chickens. See, I'm having some of these leaves yellow here at the bottom. What I try to do is harvest the leaves that are starting to yellow. Oh, hello, spider. Glad I did not walk into you. Don't want you crawling in my hair. Even though the banana spiders are pretty harmless, I still don't want them crawling on me. This guy here is getting quite attacked here at the top. There's quite a few big ones up there that I need to take. But hornworms, they're taking out those poor leaves, gosh darn it. I have noticed, this is the Perique tobacco. The leaf is a lot smaller, and it has been getting a little bit of blight compared to the Southern Beauty, and I think I definitely like the Southern Beauty better. Look at this. I just feel all in all it's been a healthier plant this year. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get up there at the very, very top, but I'll do the best I can. You got one little guy here. You see how this guy has a bit more of a brighter color to him. They always freak me out when they wiggle like that, but they don't bite. But he's got a red horn on his head. This is a tobacco hornworm. That is pretty much what I have out here. I've never actually seen a tomato hornworm. The tomato hornworms have the blue horn and kind of have more of a bluish coloring to them. It's crazy how fast they grow, though. They have been busy. I do think this Southern Beauty is prettier. It's a prettier tobacco. But generally with tobacco, you kind of wait for the leaves to yellow at the bottom, and then you can pick those. I've already picked a few, and then you want to go hang them somewhere in a dry location. We've hung them on the porch before. That works best for us, but if you have an area like a garage or somewhere inside is best, really. But I mean, people have been hanging them on their porch out here in the South for forever, and that works too. What we're gonna do with this Southern Beauty and this Perique here is I'm gonna mix them and make a blend. This one is so tiny. This is how tiny they are when they first hatch, these hornworms. I don't even know if the camera will pick it up, but this leaf is getting all spotty and blighty here. But yeah, the Southern Beauty has not been susceptible to the blight. Let's see how high we can get up here. I'm honestly pretty spooked about heights. I don't like going on ladders. I really don't. Ooh, they really creep me out when they wiggle like that. Again, they don't bite, but they still creep me out. Oh goodness. There are quite a few up there. Get this without busting the plant. This is the downside of having a tobacco plant that's 12 feet tall. Ah, I found an egg. These are those tobacco hornworm eggs. You can kind of see. They blend in very well with the tomatoes and tobacco, of course. That's what they're designed to do. Glass is just fogged up from the humidity. I'm breathing on them. Oh, there's one more way up there. Okay, plant. How far can you bend before you snap? Okay. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna get with y'all in a minute when I'm done with all this, and I will show you all the creepy tobacco hornworms that I got. Don't worry, you can always look away if it's too creepy. But I kind of find it satisfying because in the end, we get to feed them to the chickens and save these poor tobacco plants. Y'all want to see them all? Now look away if this kind of stuff freaks you out. I think it's creepy, but it's still satisfying. I got these little guys off these plants so they're not going to get massacred, although I did get one right here. I mean, it's pretty sad. This is why I gotta come out here. So important. Look at this. So now that I know this is a problem, I'm gonna just be coming out here every day, at least every other day, checking for these guys. And I definitely got bit up out here. This took me about an hour. But worth it. I gotta save Nate's tobacco. In fact, y'all, look. Let's just go through these. Let's throw these to the chickens real quick, and then I'm gonna show y'all a few things. This is fun though, look at this. That's just fun. Squash beetles have not been as bad. Everything definitely is not as bad as it used to be. I think we stayed on top of it pretty well. Some new cute little gourds coming through here. They're gonna enjoy this treat. Gross. I'm sure they'll work on that throughout the day. Look at this peanut. It's like almost climbing. It's climbing. It's weird. This tobacco, I said it was Southern Beauty. It's not. This one, that scared the bejesus out of me, guys. This was hanging off of me. I thought it was a big old spider. Oh gosh. Okay. This one's a Virginia variety. Can't remember the exact name. This guy popped up. This was a volunteer from last year. We've done this variety 2 years in a row. This particular one is good for cigars, rolling cigars. Nathan and I like a cigar on occasion, but mostly Nathan smokes a pipe. So we did the Southern Beauty and the Perique variety, which is supposed to be good for pipe smoking. This one over here is the Southern Beauty. Just a few here. I'm sure I did miss a few. Oh look, I already missed this big one. So, here girls, tomorrow I'll come back out here. When I'm planting, I'm going to be planting out my collards and broccoli. And while I'm doing that, I'll come out here and just check over the tobacco again, make sure we got everything. Diggle. Hey buddy. Hey Starlight. Now that I took care of that, as you saw there was a lot and I needed to deal with that problem, I can go take some hydrangea cuttings. This hydrangea here is my purple one, and then the biggest one back there is blue. This soil is very acidic. If you have an alkaline soil, this blue hydrangea here would be pink. I could make this more alkaline if I wanted to put some lime down, or ashes works as well. We got our lower leaves I'm going to take off. You don't want to leave much, honestly. Now, I've seen a lot of people, they just cut the leaves off like this. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of this is, to cut the leaves off like that. And you could even take off more leaves. Like, I could take this one off. And then you trim it. I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting this year. Generally, though, you're going to want to make sure you're cutting right below where you have a leaf, where you had leaves. And then I've also seen people kind of take off some of the sides. I don't know. Maybe that helps. I'm still learning. But I'm gonna do a little experimenting this year to see if that really works. Helps to take all the leaves off like that and then cut them in half. I don't know, my mom used to just root them in water and not do all of that. Last year I also just had them on the porch. I've seen a lot of people, they'll put them in a large plastic container with a top. I think to keep the humidity in, but it's so humid out here, and they also did get a little sun on the porch, which they say not to do, but they still did germinate. So I'm not sure, so I'm gonna do a little bit of experimenting and we'll see what works best, and I'll let you know. So this one I'm gonna leave a little bit more leaves on, and we're gonna try it out. I've got a mosquito around my head. I was cutting this one, look. Cute little tree frog hiding. Hey, there you go. Now tomorrow, I'll be moving all my seedlings into the greenhouse, and I've got 2 card tables out there, so I'll bring one of them up here on the porch, put it on the side porch like I did last year. And they do get a little sun, just a tiny little bit. Not direct sun, though. Just a little bit of morning sun, not much. And then eventually, when it starts getting really cold, I move them in the greenhouse. If you see over here, some of these azaleas got a little brown on the edges. It's because when I put them in, they were accidentally upside down and they got too much water. So next year I'll be a lot more careful about that. We'll see if those take at all. I don't know if they will. I'm not going to forget the rooting powder this time. Just kind of dip it all in there. I will keep you up to date, see how these do, see how they root, see which one rooted the fastest. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, you guys. I gotta go in and help the girls with their schoolwork. I'm gonna try to get this video all edited and uploaded. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.